Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being patient with us. As I said again, my name is Eric, and I want to welcome you to today's session from Humanitarian Global. And with me, I have two people I'd like to introduce. And the first person I'll start with is Anthony. Anthony, are you there with us? Okay, as we wait for Anthony, I think our second person is Andrew. Andrew, are you there with us? As we wait for Andrew. Andrew, are you there with us? Hello, Andrew. Yes, I can hear you, but you're a bit faint.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Andrew.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you can start by introducing yourself, and then we can start off the session because of time.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, members. It's my privilege to join you this today's session. My name is Andrew Angelo Monde, and I'll be taking you through today's session, which is Global Trends in Strategic Supply Chain and Logistics Management. To start with, sorry for that. Now, I have masters in procurement logistics, which I'm practicing until currently, and I'm also.
Hello, Andrew. Are you there with us? Andrew?
Hello.
Yes, Andrew, we can hear you now.
You can hear me now? Okay, thank you.
Yes, you may proceed.
Okay, I was saying,
okay.
I'm a procurement supply chain expert. I'm a licensed expert in this line. I'm a member of Kenya Institute of Suppliers Management. I'm also a member of Kenya Institute of Management. I've been teaching for around 4 years, including the research experience. Also, most of my research, I do focus in project in terms of from the initiation to completion, including the data analysis. Besides that, I also deal with supply chain and logistics, the entire hub of it, from the need to the completion until the disposal processes. That's about Andrew. And I'll be taking you through this session today, which is mostly basically towards the global trends, what's happening within the world, and the beauty about numbers and what's happening, we can't lie anything. And from the analysis, in terms of humanitarian actions, you can see the numbers. 60% of complex activities are internal. When you're talking about internal, you're talking about these activities that are manageable, that are man-made. And when you're talking about the natural one, you have natural challenges. These are 40%. These are not manageable. And we are talking about which are not manageable. We are talking about the calamities, the disasters, the fire that are happening within the world that we can't manage. Besides this, we are seeing that more than 200 million people are suffering. They are suffering because they are in refugees. They don't have anyone who can come across them to assist them. They don't have any way they can salvage that situation. And also, it is the time of diversity we are really discover who we are. It is the time that we are supposed to understand what are we supposed to undertake. What are we supposed to undertake? In some circumstance, we need someone to come from somewhere who can come and secure us, salvage us the situation. And that's why we are here. We are here to discuss this issue together so that we can analyze and come up with the best way to manage it. And the key factor is about we are supposed to get information. And where shall we get this information? We are going to get this information from accredited institutions. Currently, we at the Humanitarian Global Institute, this is what we are offering. This is what we are offering. This is information we need everyone to have this, so that from that number of 200 million, we are supposed to reduce that number at least to be in a way whereby our people are not suffering. Take this situation in your own shoes. How do you feel when you are suffering? Okay, it's not something that you can need someone to go through. So this is what we are going to discuss about. And then once we get the information, then what action are we supposed to undertake? Very kindly in the next slide. Now, the scope of the disaster analysis. What's on the board, on the slide, this is the current activities that are happening within the world. The COVID came in 2019 December. You understand its impact even currently. Many businesses were affected, including the giant Amazon. They were also affected. Also, the current activity you're talking about is about wars in Sri Lanka. The riots, people are rioting because of politics effect. And the most that has gone for a longer time is about the Ukraine. You can see what's happening, and you can see when this happens, it affects the whole global. You can see how people are crying, people are suffering. There are people who are suffering in terms of famine. People are suffering because they can't get what they need. They have the money to spend, but they can't get what they need. People are suffering in terms of hunger, and there's no one who can come intervene to save them. We appreciate the support we are getting from donors, different donors, who are offering wholeheartedly, so that at least we are supposed to have something that can assist or can salvage our people. Another one is about the diseases, the epidemic. You understand the epidemic that affected especially the Uganda. It's affected almost the whole country. And this is still the impact that people are still recovering from the same case. The malaria being a rampant disease within the society until the current, the rate at which people are suffering in malaria is still high. Also, you understand the HIV. HIV, what's happening within the society, that this, whenever you're affected, you can't perform what you expect to do. Another is about the catastrophe that's happening in Ethiopia. You can see the numbers. The numbers are still increasing. And the most that's worsening right now, even in the areas like Italy, is about the climate change. The climate, especially the east part of the world, people are suffering. It's a rating of almost 42.4 degrees Celsius. This is more than the expectation. This is about global warming. You know about the fire currently even happening in France. Besides the fire, and you understand it has affected so many people in terms of lives. And also the other one that happened sometimes 2010 is about Haiti, the earthquakes. So all these are things that we are supposed to be equipped and know on how we can manage. Next slide. And we as a humanitarian team, we are supposed to understand at what point are we supposed to step in. We are not supposed to stay on the corner, waiting for someone to come and help us. We are supposed to face it. We are supposed to face it, because as we face it, we are helping a society. We are saving a life, someone who needs our support. You can see, we'll be talking about Ukraine. The 90% people are children and women, and they have run to their next area whereby they can get rescue, safety. They can at least proceed with their activities. Now, Poland right now, I understand they are good neighbors and they are good friends, but they're also feeling the pain. How? They're also affected directly and indirectly. You can see how people's property have been affected. And when someone's property has been affected, this is something that entails resources. So which way are we supposed to intervene? We are supposed to impact people with information. And this information can only come from the institution, can only come from through getting information from different arenas, and the best place to get the information is from a credible information is from the institutions. So that's why we are here. We are discussing about this. We understand what's happening so that so that we can take a step forward to improve the services of our people. Next slide, my friend. Eric, move the next slide. Yes, go back. You can see the earthquakes. This happened sometimes in Haiti and also Pakistan. And from this, many people were affected. We are going through this so that we can understand what we are supposed to do, so that we can now go to the nitty-gritty of what we are supposed to do, so that as we progress to the basics, we have the baseline. The baseline is very fundamental to us, so that as we progress, at least we have a foundation. So you can see what earthquakes did to people. Their buildings collapsed down. Even they cannot salvage anything from it. This is not the admirable life. This is a miserable life. It needs our intervention so that we can move in and help the society to succeed and progress in their daily activities. Move the next slide. And the next slide talks about things that are still happening within the society. Very kindly. And as we are keeping ourselves with this information, let us step forward so that we can understand the actions we are supposed to undertake. We are supposed to understand on how we should undertake these activities so that our people can be helpful in this area. Hello?
Yeah, hello, Andrew. We can see your screen, eh? So you may proceed to the slide. Eh?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good. Now, you can see also the countries that are affected. We are talking about the fires which are happening within the area, within the world. This is not something that is admirable to us. This, and especially East Africa and the France, people are suffering. London, Somali, Italy, Belgium, and United Kingdom. People are not at peace. And how will they be salvaged from this situation? They need our support. You can see people queuing, looking for water, and we don't know the situation in which way this water is in. Yemen needs health assistance. Burkina Faso has a total problem in terms of water. Earthquakes happening and catastrophe happening in Ethiopia, including Kenya. It has 4.5 people suffering. They need salvation. They need someone to come and help them in terms of coming up from the worst situation. Affected areas, mostly lost hopes. People lost their jobs, closure of businesses, injuries happens, people are traumatized, that leads them even to death. You see, or if not death, someone remains crippled, disabled, or the trauma, depending with that what circumstance, is a worse scenario. There are people missing, they are still looking. There are people, for example, the earthquakes, when it happens, accessing your people becomes a challenge. Properties and businesses, business stock are also affected. All this is what we are supposed to be discussing about. And this information we are supposed to get. Now, besides all these happenings, who are our heroes? Where do you normally get these pictures? Where do you normally get these pictures? These pictures we are getting from journalists. The people who have the courage. They have the courage to to face the situation and apply and take photos without any fear. These are the unsung heroes. These are the people who are telling us what's happening within the world. At our comfort of technology, we can access this information anywhere, wherever we need it. Then we have those rescue team. When everything is happening in the midst, they are ready to enter in those calamities and save our people. Those ambulances, those drivers, those rescue team who are in it. The other heroes that we are supposed to celebrate, the donors. People who are ready to assist us come up from our challenges and understand that the situation or whatever is happening is normal. These donors are people who are we are supposed to celebrate them. Health experts. Someone has been shot. Health experts are there already, salvaging the situation, so that at least saving a life, so that this person can be in a position to be helpful in what situation that he's in. The other team are the survivors themselves. You as a survivor is not something encouraging when you are facing through that trauma. It's not something supportive. It's very traumatizing. You are our hero. The peacekeeping, the people who are intervening to come and help us so that we can go back or we can have a peaceful environment to perform business, to proceed with our lives. These are people who are unsung within the society. The other one are the formulators, people who come up, who understand what we are supposed to undertake. They do the feasibility analysis and then give us what we are supposed, or the measures we are supposed to undertake. The implementers, once we have the resources, we know what we are supposed to do, who is ready to take an action? As we progress, we shall say that the information we have, but people fear to take actions. Let us not sit in the corner waiting for a different person to come and assist us. We are supposed to face it. Just like the hummingbird, let's do what we can, wherever we are, through the resources we have. Let us assume about the side shows. Let us face the reality and do what is required. The last one, but not least, the guiding and counseling experts. Have you ever been found in a situation whereby you can't withstand what you have seen? This is the right time we need the counselors to come in so that they can assist us to come back to our normal situation. These are unsung heroes. Whatever we are doing, let us remember them every time here and there. Now, after going through the glimpse of what we expect, this has just been a baseline of what we are supposed to undertake. Let's go to the really topics that we are supposed to discuss today. Today, we are going to cover, the main area is about the global trends of supply chain and logistics in humanitarian ground. The topic we are going to discuss is about strategic purchasing and supply management, logistics, public and international procurement, and how we are going to adapt of technology in this sector. And the last one is the emerging trends and how we can manage them. So as we progress, those in the chat box, you can send us the questions. You can raise your contribution so that as we progress together. The hub of this topic is strategic. And when you are talking about strategic, these are the plans or the reason why we are existing within the society. And this one is embedded into the mission. And this mission, we talk about the culture, the norms, the values, the goals of our company, including the vision and expectations. This is summarizes everything about the company, because there's no way we can do anything without having a purpose. Our purpose is to save lives. Our purpose is to ensure people have information. Our purpose is to ensure that people are ready. We are ready to help the society move from the deteriorated side, the disasters, into manageable areas. We are prepared. We are ready. No chance to lose. We are resilient to the circumstances that are going to face our people. Not reacting to it, but being prepared in advance so that we can act upon it. So this is the baseline, this is the foundation of all activities that will be done in a society. This includes about what we believe in, the culture, the norm. What are these footprints? That anytime we are talking about our institution, what comes to our mind? The humanity, the care, the peace. This is what we need. So the strategic intent is what we believe in. Now, after understanding what we believe in and knowing about our vision and mission, that should be rubber stamped to every corner of our company. All the employees are supposed to have this information. After understanding all this, we go to the next level of the environmental analysis. We talk about the SWOT analysis. We want to know where we are, how we are, and where we are heading. And what are we supposed to undertake so that we can reach where we want. So when you're talking about SWOT analysis, we are talking about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and opportunities, these are activities which are going to assist us, or they're supposed to be the baseline to help us convert from the challenges we are facing. Weaknesses and threats, these are areas that we are supposed to work on so that we can improve the situation, we can improve the services within our society. And to emphasize more is about, we are talking about SWOT, strengths and weaknesses. What are people know us about? When we talk about humanitarian, what comes to their mind? We believe in humanity. We believe in peace. We believe in care. We trust that every human being is valuable and needs the support from us. The weaknesses, what are we not doing right as a company that we are supposed to undertake so that we can improve? What gaps do we have? The machines we are using, the kind of technologies, software we are using, the ability to analyze the situation, these are the weaknesses we are supposed to consider too. And now the external part of it is the opportunities and the threats. What is within the environment that we are supposed to move in so that we can help the society? And this is where we are. Our people are not safe, and we are able to assist our people. We have the information, so we are supposed to move with the speed to go help our people. The other one about the threat. What is deterring us to help our people? Is it about the scarcity of resources in terms of manpower, in terms of machineries, in terms of technology, ability to change or access information on time. All these can be analyzed by different models. Confirm, Eric, whether you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Andrew.
Good. Now, as we are doing the situation analysis, the environmental analysis, we have different models. We have very many models: BCG, 7SS, McKinsey. But for this case, we're going to concentrate on two of them: Porter's 5 forces and Pestel. When you're talking about Pestel, these are things that are happening within our environment: political, economical, social, technological, health, and environmental. And the last one is about legal. What is ailing us in terms of politics? Like whatever that's happening in Sri Lanka, those are politics. People from Kenya, they'll be doing election in 2 weeks to come. Right now, those people who are in ballot, they're doing campaign. How is the environment? How is the environment? Is the environment conducive for people to do their businesses? Is it good for them to perform their activities, to progress with their activities well? Take an example of what's happening in Sri Lanka. We thank God that actually they agreed and they elected a different president after the first one fled away, and at least there's peace. And this is what we are advocating for. We are only advocating for peace, so that on that pestle, people can progress with their businesses. They can improve in terms of what? In economic performance. Let us be our brother's keeper by promoting the societal parameters, social cultural activities within our society. Let us be there for one another. Technology, how does it affect the society? That at our fingertips or at our comfort zone, we can access information. Thank God, we can handle the session through online. We are in the globe, in different areas, but we can access all we need. This is a small world, a world whereby the whole world can gather together through internet, through different softwares, and then discuss what is happening within the society. We are talking about health. Health, when you're talking about it, we are checking on what's affecting the society. In our introduction, we talked about COVID-19, you know, the impact. People have not resumed to where they were. They are still toddlers coming back to the normal situation. We are talking about malaria, which is a key killer affecting people within the society. We are talking about starvation. People doesn't have enough food to eat. The basic requirement like water, they can't afford to get it. Is not a sounding scenario. The environment. When we're talking about environment, we consider the wildfire that's happening in France. leads people to become refugees, losing their valuable activities. This is not a promising or supporting environment. And that's why we are here. We need this information to assist us. The legal actions, the effects that are happening, the killings, the traumatizing, people need their rights. And this can only be through the precedents that are made through the courts, through following the contractual agreement. This is what we are talking about, understanding the environment. The other model is about Porter's 5 forces. It is Michael Porter's 5 forces because it was discovered by Michael Porter, who is a great economist. He is a great author. He has written many books in entrepreneurship all around. And when we are talking about the 5 forces, which are these forces? One, they are suppliers. People who are supplying to us goods, all the resources we need. He's a key person in our business, in our activities. The second person is about the buyer. We are the buyer. We are buying these goods so that we can salvage a situation somewhere. The other one is about competitors, competition that are happening within the society. The other one is about the new entrants, the new markets, the new business that are upcoming. And the last one is about the rivalry, those who have direct interaction or who are selling the copy paste of our products. These are the situations we are supposed to analyze. Once we understand, we can know where we are supposed to, how we are supposed to proceed. Once we have all these parameters on ground, after doing the feasibility analysis, we can now progress to formulation strategy, bridging the gap. We understand where we are. We understand the challenges we are facing. We understand we have the numbers, people who are suffering, and the causes about maybe politics. The causes maybe is about the wildfire. What are we supposed to undertake? What type of activities, the SOPs we are supposed to put in place so that we can be safe? This is the hub of our discussion. This is a key area that we are supposed to concentrate and understand what we are supposed to do. In the same, what are the procedures, the policies we believe in? And now, after understanding the SOPs, the resources. When you're talking about resources, you're talking about the 4M, the manpower, the money, machines, information, and time. This is what we need, and this should be smart, specific, measurable, actual, and realistic, and they should be on time. So, strategic intent, environmental analysis, and formulation, these are the key areas. Once we have those baselines, we can now move to implementation part of it. The implementation part of it, we have already assessed what we need, and now where can we get it? so that we can move to actualization, doing the relay activity so that we can save our people. On doing the same, as we perform, we are supposed to follow up, check on key performance indicators. How are we performing in the society? Are we meeting the needs of our people as tabled on the situation analysis? And if yes, what are we supposed to do better? Or if not, what action are we supposed to undertake so that we can improve by taking the corrective measures in the world of supply chain? And we are talking about the suppliers we have. What type of contractual agreement do we have? How many suppliers do we have? Or in event, the supplier who is based in Russia, when the fighting starts, we are stuck, we're in a quagmire that we can't salvage ourselves. You see what's happening in the world. The inflation rate has hiked. Fuel everywhere, people are crying. And when the fuel increases, it affects everything. It affects everything that leaves our people desperate. Leaves our people desperate to we have no one to assist us. And that's why this area is key for us to come up with the parameters, plan for it, and then know where we are supposed to be going. Is a relief with the agreement Ukraine and Russia, they went together to allow the export of essential goods, is a relief to the society. However, our people are still ailing. It has taken too long to such a situation. Is a relief to people from Sri Lanka because of that re-election of a new president who has intervened to have to come up and then agree. Is a relief between Kenya and Somalia signing a security accord. They are going to work together. Is a relief between Niger and Italy coming together in terms so that they can have an alternative or supply of goods in event the same one supplier fails or is affected in one way. This is a great call-up call for people in this line. Remember, we said supply chain and logistics holds 80% of activity. So meaning everything you're doing, even right now, whatever you're doing, it involves supply chain and logistics. The communication we are doing is a key area that is a great in terms of logistics. So this is the hub of everything. We are in the right place. The only thing that you're supposed to undertake is a step forward. Step forward, seek for information, act on that information, and let our people be safe. This is a rich area. I've not exhausted this area. I'm just taking the key part of it. But as we are planning and as you are planning to join our institution, is a high time that when you join, we shall discuss at length. This is everything. Strategic purchase and supply management, this is everything. So as you are still thinking of it, take a step forward. You will gain. So that you can salvage these 80% of people who are suffering. You can take an action. You can be accounted. That hummingbird, who is that hummingbird in the society? You are supposed to be the one. Come up with all the information with all the energy through zeal. Join the team. Let us be together in teamwork and then support our society. After talking about the long term, we are going to next step on public and international procurement area. This public procurement and asset disposal. These are once or before we can initiate an activity. What are we supposed to know? Where are we supposed to start? And how are we supposed to end? This is also a rich area, which is very great. It helps to analyze the need of the society. And once we understand the need of society, then we can know on how we can blend what's required to meet their needs. Remember, in our first episode, we asked a question, who is the customer? And how are we supposed to take care of this customer? You will be answered as we progress. So we shall discuss about the principles. We shall discuss about the methods of tenders. We shall discuss about open tender as the most credible process. We shall also discuss about the challenges that are facing procurement overseas. Last and not least, we shall discuss also about the disposals. This is also the hub of procurement. Now, these are the principles. We are answerable to the donors. We are answerable to the journalists. We are answerable to the health experts. We are answerable to the survivors. We are answerable to the entire society. That's why this principle is very important. One of the principles is about accountability. Are we answerable to what we are doing? Can we stand tall and respond to what's required? The procurement, the goods we bought during the calamity, can we account for every coin that we spend in it? These principles are very key. The other one is about efficiency. When you're talking about efficiency, we are talking about time factor. How long shall we take so that we can intervene? The lead time, ordering. Remember, we are in a risk situation because an emergency, people are suffering. Then we are supposed to take a key and immediate action so that we can respond to our people and then help someone who is dying. Someone who needs evacuation because of that wildfire, because of that earthquake, because of that sunny situation, very hot. What are these mitigation measures we're going to come up with? It should not take long to be short time. In terms of decision making, let it be very short. Break all those procedural, however much they're very important, but make sure that you are following the right channel to make optimum and very efficient decisions. No wastage of time. Because as time is very much important, you can save a life within that single minute. You can save a life within that single minute. So let us take an action on what is required. Also consider the issue of legality. We are surrounded, or we are living in a society which has a parameters of performance, which has a standard procedures of doing activities. Let us do that is right. Let us do everything that is right. Then we talk about equity and equality, taking equal measures to everyone regardless of gender, tribe, group, lifestyle, and everyone. Emergency doesn't know that. It needs our intervention. Doesn't require that we are only supposed to save the old and leave the young ones. We are supposed to save the people who are working and not save the people who are not working. All people are equal before us. Let us take the action. Competitive supply. Let us give equal chances to everyone who is willing and able to supply to us goods without any biasness. Because if we don't support this principle, then the transparency and accountability will be of question. Consistency. The step-by-step and the continuous follow-up of activities will help us to eradicate poverty, will help us to deal with malaria, will help us to be prepared so that in event of any challenge that happens within the society, actually we have measures to undertake. Remember, as we said earlier, that every situation is unique. However much in its uniqueness, then we must have a consistency of doing our activities. We can also include the innovation in it so that we can improve in terms of response. The other one is about integration. To enhance time, to enhance decision making, to ensure that we have consistency, let us have that collaboration, coordination, partnership, that we can share information through different softwares, ERP, enterprise resource planning, radio frequency identification, that can monitor or can quickly take a decision and act towards it. The other one is about responsiveness. The opposite of responsiveness is being rigid, not being flexible, not taking action immediately. How flexible are we? Can we respond to this action sooner? Or we are going to follow that protocol and the person to make a decision not around? Due to the current technology, we are supposed to hasten this process and use automations. Effectiveness. Value for our money. Whatever you are doing, is it within the market range? We are not here to exploit donors. We are here to perform our activities within the line so that the donors can also appreciate the value of their spending. Remember, these are the heroes we are talking of. They are the people who are going to bring the machineries, the drones, to save our people. There are people, we don't know how they are getting their resources, but they are ready to help our people come back to the normal situation, help the environment be safe. The other one is about integrity, code of conducts. How is our behaviors judged? The activities we are doing in terms of the ethics, personality, behavior, beliefs, culture that is encrypted in us. The sound behaviors are very essential to us, very helpful. For this, the key is let us promote humanity. And how do we promote humanity? By advocating for peace always. The last one and not least is transparency, the openness. How clear is our decisions? How transparent are we? This is very fundamental. Confirm to me whether we are together.
Yes, Andrew, we are together.
Thank you. After discussing about principles, let's move to methods of procurement processes. They are various, and we shall go through them. One is open tender. We shall not discuss much about them because of also time is very limited. And that's so we are just giving you a glimpse of what we are offering. These are high time you are supposed to take a step forward so that the kind of decision you're going to use, the kind of procurement process you're going to use will make a judgment how long it will take to save a life. Open tender, this mostly is applicable when the situations are not emergency, the normal circumstances. And it's the best credible process of procurement, which qualifies all these 12 principles. Besides it, we have two-stage tendering. We say that every situation is unique. Two-stage tendering is much closer to design competition, but two-stage tendering is a situation whereby one, the company doesn't understand what they are supposed to procure. They decide to involve the experts. Then experts are going to come up with the specifications. And once the client will see that these are closer specifications, he can now engage. The first stage is about the experts sending a proposal in terms of specification. Then the client will check. The next step now, the second stage, the client will engage the preferable tenderer, and the process will proceed. Design competition. This is where you come up together with your client or tenderer and then design the right specs that is required. Request for quotations. Request for quotations, request for proposal, request for information. This one doesn't take long. At most takes 5 days to make a decision on it. It's whereby you have the pre-qualified suppliers. You just send them the items or materials you need, and then they can respond with the quotation, how much per item. Direct procuring, it has a threshold. This mostly applies during emergencies. We don't have time to follow the procedure. But through what we believe in, we have a clause, we can procure directly from those pre-qualified tenderers. Restricted tendering. This goes with the margins. How much? The restricted tendering has some restrictions that we are supposed to use this supplier because the value or the need, the value is either not very expensive. If not expensive, you are supposed to apply low value. In the same case, you can sometimes called under impressed, or you can use petty cash. And this one will be as per the policies set in the organization. force account. This is a situation whereby someone has failed to supply or to do business as agreed. Then now you go back to the drawing board, you recontract again that this is a task we had agreed earlier, but you failed because of 1, 2, 3, or the performance did not hit in terms of time, in terms of the expectations. Now you take over, then you can employ or you can give the services to a different supplier. Electronic reverse auction. This is also a key area that through the services required, are we meeting or are we doing the right thing as required? Then we have framework. The framework maybe needs at least 7 suppliers supply to you to bring their quotation so that you can analyze. It's also one of the best, but sometimes it needs when you have a lot of supplier in the market. Request for proposal and quotation more or less the same. The competitive negotiations, this is when 2 suppliers or 3 suppliers tie. Now you have to break the between among them. After talking about the methods of procurement process, we talk about open tendering process. It has 12 stages. 1 is need recognition. And we said need recognition is or comes from the end user. Who is our end user? And what are his needs? He is the one who will initiate the process, the user. 2, procurement planning. When I talk about procurement planning, we are talking in terms of budgeting. Yes, this is what the user needs. The situation right now is that our people doesn't have basic foods to take. They don't have the clothing. So the need is the clothes. So of what quantity and where can we get this? Do we have the budget? Do you have enough money to spend? And if not, where can we get it? Then after getting that, now you can go to the specification. When I talk about specification is the what will fit the need. Then from there, we go to 4th level, the source option. Source option is about which type of procurement are you going to use? Is it emergency? If it's emergency, we go for direct tendering. If the margin is very high, then we can check to our portfolio or pre-qualification document. Who are these that we reserved under restriction tendering can supply us with this magnitude of need? Or if at all is not very expensive, you can go for impressed. But for this case, being open tendering, we go for open tendering. Under open tendering, we undertake the process of open tender advertisement, opening tender advertisement, which is supposed within which is when it's local like Kenya, supposed to be gazetted or advertised in any media which is covering the entire country. If it's global, then it's supposed to take at least, for local, supposed to take 21 days. For international, supposed to take 30 days. After that, you open tender in presence of suppliers or their representatives. And then from there, the pre-tender, you check the minimum threshold that's required. 1, do they meet the thresholds that you requested? Then after that, first preliminary evaluation, you undertake the technical evaluation. This is everything. Technical evaluation must go hand in hand with the specification of the need. Once these tenderers have qualified, those qualified will move to the final stage of evaluation, which is economic or financial evaluation. And with the public procurement or open tendering, we go for the lowest. That our budget was 10 million, and the least person has quoted 80 million. The next person has quoted 10 million. The third one has quoted 12 million. We go as the principal, the lowest quoted, we go for the 80 million. After that, we announce for 14 days, waiting for any challenge, or if we have any unsatisfactory supplier. In such a circumstance, we have already announced the winner, contract award, but they are not going to sign as we wait for any grievance from any other supplier or competitors who had bidded for it. Within those days, once we don't have anyone, then now the winner can sign the contract. And when you are signing the contract, you are supposed to be very keen of the content of the contract. After signing the contract, you can now do the activities, tender management, contract management. You send the LPO to the supplier, they deliver, you receive the goods, you inspect, you sign the GRN. Then now you transfer the information to the accounts for payment as per the invoice in relation to the receipts. After doing all this, the goods, they are within the stores. Maybe if it is a project, maybe we procured goods in excess, surplus, or the goods that we bought, we used some, and because the need has not arisen, others lost value or are losing value, obsolete, lost value, deteriorating, it's losing value. The supply is in waste, is in excess. We are supposed to dispose these goods. But disposal doesn't mean that we are supposed to share within the employees. With the public procurement, you are not supposed to sell to anyone you are connected to in terms of lineage, and staffs are not supposed to buy direct from it. The other one is about documentation. After disposing, you can now document everything. And after documentation, then you can terminate the contract. That is the process of tendering process. Role of procurement function. What is the role of procurement function? The key roles is about having the register of the tenderers, preparing and distribution and disposal of tender documents, and also ensuring that you are receiving the tenders on time. The other one is about you coordinate the evaluation of those proposals. Then now, also you can monitor in terms of user department on how they are using. Are they really using at the right place? And in tendering process, you are the secretary during the process. Besides the locals, we can discuss about the international reasons for buying internationally. Because of the growing demand of consumers, we have different consumers whose their needs is not within the country. It has to be over shipped from international. And also, being some countries, they are removing those barriers, especially like right now, we are talking about the COMESAs enacted, especially which are working closer to the East Africa countries. They are breaking those barriers so that you don't have those procedural documentation of processes so that you can move from one country to another one. So this one making businesses to be easier. Being the fact that actually we can integrate through the use of softwares, then it enables us to source or to procure goods from international. And also because of enhanced information, which you can easily access it from the Google area, becomes easy for us to source goods from Sierra Leone, from Italy, anywhere within the world. And also, you can buy those items on a lower price and then sell them so that you can gain a lot of profit or higher profits. Now, as we are doing business globally, what are these challenges that we are facing? What are the challenges that we are facing? As tabled there, one of it is about distance, lack of information. Yes, we can get information from the Google, but is it the right information? We have so many bloggers in the Google. So take conscious, use credible institutions. The best institutions that are registered institutions, especially the academic institutions, you'll get the best information on how you can access or you can do business globally. So many people have been conned through this. So take a lot of conscious when you are taking an action or when you want to do business internationally. Because when you are going to a credible institution, they'll show you whether these people are compliant with all the SOPs that is required. Also the payments. Payments, you can use the credible consultants or you can tag the banks, which are credible institutions also, so that they can assist you in terms of safeguarding or not making any loss. The other one is about transportation risks, be it water transport, be it air transport. A calamity always happens when we are not prepared or when we are not aware. Distance sometimes is long, that may need you to travel, and the time to go is very limited. The other one is about quality expectation. The sample that you are sent and the orders that you have received doesn't match, and the reverse action becomes hard. Disposal methods. Disposal methods. During our open tendering process, this that last stage, it was about disposal. Now here we are going to discuss about ways of how to dispose. You can dispose, working in a government, you can transfer to another entity without involving any financial transactions. You can decide to sell by auction. The highest bidder will go for it. You can decide to sell by public tender. You advertise, and they can bring them through the sealed process. Or you can decide to trade in, the barter trade. You understand the barter trade business, trade in, exchange. That this is what we need. Because you have it, we can exchange. Waste disposal management. Now, waste disposal management, this is a key area also. We understand our society as the picture shows. We have so many pollutions in society, in the environment. The plastics, the glassworks, residues that cannot dissolve. They are not recyclable. How are we supposed to dispose them? We have a special way through the support of health department on how we are supposed to safeguard, and also the environmental practitioners on how we are supposed to dispose. On a wider perspective, we talk about sustainability, which leads to the promotion of circular economy. We shall discuss it as we progress. So these are special areas that also you're supposed to engage, because most of our society where we are, we have a lot of pollution. How are we going to manage that pollution? Adoption of technology in supply chain management to humanitarian sector. The adoption of technology. Initially, information was a challenge. It was analog. Approval was analog. The signatures was not automated. The beauty about e-procurement, that everything can be done through online. Documentation can be done online. This has been done easy because of technology, because of the continuous evolvement and innovative of the experts in the society. Making decisions becomes easier. That when we want to respond to what's happening right now in Sri Lanka, we can procure goods and supply easily through different shipments, and our people can be secured. The refugees who are in Poland ran away from Ukraine for their lives. It's easy to access the resources through the automation, transfer, and also signing and approvals. Barcoding. These are special gadgets which is readable by machine, computer machine. And they can translate the information into readable and understandable to anyone through scanning. The advanced step is about electronic interchange, data interchange, EDI, which can also help in terms of decision making and tabulating how much is this item. These are key areas especially used in terms of the retail businesses, the supermarkets, the companies that are dealing with those franchising goods. The other one, which is also a hub of technology, is enterprise resource planning. This is a universal software that helps even in terms of decision making and foretelling what is required within the company. It's a universal software because it helps even integrating all the departments together and hastening decision making. Is the best software. Like Kenya, many companies are automating it, are adopting it, including the KRA, are adopting it so that it becomes easy. E-receipt, the taxation becomes easy, that you can upload everything in the system, you can access it, and they can access it and understand how the flow of activity within the company. Just in time is a software that helps to make a decision as soon, as quick as possible. Behind the scene, you must have systems which are working for all this to happen. Be it barcoding, be it EDI, be it enterprise resource planning, be it just in time. Just in time, you need it, we supply it. You need it, we have it. And being the fact we are in emergency situation, this is a key area we are supposed to be equipped. We have a pre-signing with the suppliers so that we have all the information in hand. So that when that time comes, it's just a matter of making an order. And then you get the goods on time through shipping. Internet of Things. The world has become home. We can do everything at our comfort zone. However, disclaimer, the cyber crimes, they're also there. So when you're doing all this, take note, be very conscious on what you are doing through the system. The last one is radio frequency identification, RFID. This has an advancement. This is an advancement for ERP. And the most industries are using the RFID is the logistics industry, those who are in distribution. It also includes the surveillance. It can monitor the container or the truck which is in transit through the support of barcodes. You can work with security department and insurance department and the supplier himself, and you as a client. You can monitor the consignment, the way it's moving from one place to another. And this one has led to seamless transactions, transfer, and distribution of goods. This one's trying to eliminate most of paperwork and also reliance on much of human resource, not on a larger perspective. After discussing about the softwares, we talk about the emerging trends in humanitarian supply chain. One of it is about lean supply. When you're talking about lean supply, you're talking about you skin it, having very narrow management. And this narrow management, one of the best way or the area supporting very well in terms of wastage. There's no wastage of time, of money, of having big number of employees within the workplace. You make everything seamless. You cut costs. Remember, even the non-profit making industries, they need to see the value for their money. Was this money or these resources reached their destination? Did it meet the purpose to the people they were targeting? Resiliency and robust in business. That what are these mitigation and automation we are going to undertake so that we can go back to the performance or to the normal situations we are supposed to undertaking. waking up, or when you are fallen down, waking up and dusting and moving on. That zeal is what you talk about resilience. Being in a position, energetic, to move on, regardless of what happened. The trauma people who have been affected, especially the Sri Lanka, they are high time they're supposed to go back now to their daily activity. I understand it'll take them sometimes, just like any other normal human being. People of Ukraine, however much those agreements are coming in, but those trauma will still affect those people. Now, this is what we are talking about, the resilience. How energetic? Or will you be flashbacking, and will they be haunting you as you progress? Sustainability. Sustainability is a key area that talks about 4 key areas. One of it talks about environment. 2, it talks about economics in terms of living standards. 3, it talks about the legals, administrative, legality. Then the last one, it talks about social, cultural. And this one, in hand with circular economy, is the greatest emerging trends within the supply chain and logistics in relation to emergencies. These are key areas you are supposed to work on. And in relation to technology, then it becomes easy for manageability. Also ensuring that the society, the environment is friendly. The drainage, the sewerage are not affected because of the throwing or dumping everywhere. Let's support the environment. Let's support social culture. Let's support the living standard of our people. Under all circumstances, let us uphold to the law and order of our society. Technology, integrated financial management information system. These are good softwares whereby you can automate all departments so that as you procure from the user department through the stream, up, down, then to the suppliers and everyone, the system can be managed easily through the current automation and evolution of the softwares we are having. The other one, which is also a key area, and that's why we are here, corporate social responsibility. Of what value is the society to you? How is the society gaining from you? You are not supposed to be a liability. You are supposed to be an asset. You are supposed to do what's required, the best, so that the society can feel your presence. Otherwise, if you become a liability to the society, you are missing why you are in that society. You become a burden. Center of excellency, that the needs of our consumers, however much they are unique, they are different, but they need satisfaction. Satisfaction is very key in logistics because it helps in terms of rejections, in terms of reworking. And remember, rejection has a cost, reworking has a cost. There's a lot of tabulation and this duplication, and this one leads to crashing of your profits. For the donors, it leads to wastage or excess usage of financial resources. So let us perform these activities once and for all. Quality for purpose. let us meet the expectations of our people by doing what's right always. Stakeholder engagement. Customer relations management is very key too. As you engage the stakeholders, the suppliers, then now this one drives to partnership and it becomes easy for you to perform or to do business. In that circumstance, it helps the society to grow immensely. How? That the consumer are getting their goods as per the specification. The supplier is supplying the goods on time without delay. And both parties get value for their money. The other one is about agility. When I was doing my MS in procurement and logistics, this was my area of discussion, the agility, the responsiveness and flexibility. When you're talking about this, we're talking about the visibility, and we're also talking about accessibility. These are merging area that we are supposed to move away from those bondages of rigidity. Let the decisions be made within the shortest time possible. The parameters to be measured, let be within the shortest time possible. We respond to it, we can make some adjustments without delays. Six Sigma. The goods we need, of what variations and deviations are we in a position to make or rectify? Take note that Six Sigma and lean management, those are key areas that we are supposed also to concentrate on. Lean Six Sigma, we reduce the variations and deviations so that we can improve in service delivery. The bullwhip effect. Inconsistency of supply is also another need, is also another area. That what we requested is not what we was supplied. And this one leads now the rejections or delays of goods. So let us work also on the bullwhip effects. Now, under the compliance, as we are heading to finish, is an area that talks about what we are supposed to do. We understand that these are complex world, but also we are supposed to be there as we work on the principles to safeguard our people. And the key word is safety and peace. Safety, secure, and peace. This is what we are supposed to be advocating always. Let us focus in terms of costs, time, and also let us optimize the supplies that is required as we enhance or adopt the technology. When we do all this through the linking of different areas integration, then we shall deal with these disasters as an easy landing process. Continuation. All these complexities can be reduced by enhancing the relationship amongst us, by ensuring we manage the movements of all the required resources from one region to another. And this it will be a focus to reduce the paradigm shift of the challenges of our people. As I finish, the main texts, here they are. No one is immune to disaster. No one can say that he has a total measure in terms of disaster. The only thing we can do is preparedness. And that's why we are here talking about strategic, that we have everything we have in our database, pre-qualified suppliers, who by any need, we can call them and request them to supply us what we need. Hazards are avoidable while disaster is not. Hazards are human-made. You can control them and you can avoid them. However, there's no way you can run away or you can totally be secure on disaster. The only thing we can do is to come up with the measures of mitigation, being prepared, being ready all the time and always. This is fundamental to us, to everyone, as we progress in this lovely industry, which is very rich and doesn't have those people or the numbers to support it. Besides preparedness, let us come up with measures on prevention, on how we can prevent these disasters. We can prevent these disasters by enhancing the response team, automating everything. We have talked about the agility. We have talked about enhancing technology. We have talked about the improving or having the supportive measures in terms of satisfying our people needs. Now, as we are knocking at your doorstep, let there be hope, let there be peace, let there be transparency that our people will get what they need. It's me and you who can make a difference. And this difference must come from us. In every case, every solution should be peace. The song to us is about peace. The other one is about time to talk is over. It's time for action. And every action should count. We have been there for a longer time. The only thing that remaining is to make a step forward. Let us move with speed and let us take a decisive action. We at Humanitarian Institute, we found out we have a very big gap in the society. Our people are suffering. They need information. And that's why we are engaging the society so that we can move together as we join hands to eradicate this catastrophe called disaster in our society. Let us stand tall. Let us be counted so that we can improve and salvage our people. Join us today so that we can talk in intensive of what we have Come, we share together in terms of knowledge. Register with us. We have those certificates, diplomas, and advanced diplomas in this area, which is rich, so that we can save our people in all areas. Well, thank you so much. And I'm opening the platform for questions, contributions, as per our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for that. Thank you for guiding us through the session. It was a very informative session, and we are glad that we got to learn more about procurement. I think I will take you to the chat section. I can see one question here, Andrew.
Yes.
It's by Wolian.
Yes.
I think let me read it out for you. He says, for every organization, we know that a procurement officer needs to draft an annual or monthly procurement plan. I have started working with a national NGO in South Sudan, but when it comes to planning, it is so challenging for me to draw that. To draw that needs to know the actual budget within my organization. My finance department usually gives excuses on donors not to release funds in time. So he's asking, how can you help him in such a situation?
Thank you. During the discussion on procurement process, we talked about budget, procurement planning. Procurement planning, we talk about budget. How much are we going to spend? Every country, every company, every individual, including you and me, we spend. And before we can spend, we must have a budget. That this is what we need and we can afford. Like Kenya, I'll give an example of Kenya. We normally have a financial year. Right now, this is the financial months, the first financial months, because our financial year is from July to June yearly. And every procurement department must have an annual procurement plan. How do we get it? That's the question what we are answering. How do we get the right that this is what we are supposed to spend? All this information lies with the end user, the departments. We have the security department, we have finance department, we have agriculture department. All these departments, they are the needs. They have their needs. So through one umbrella, they are supposed to submit the procurement department all their budgets that they're going to work on that financial year. How do they get this information? Maybe I'm just an employee who was employed the other day. How do I get this information that this is the budget that's supposed to, or this is what you're supposed to procure? One, if the company has been there for a while, through their archives, you're supposed to get this information. If it's a new company, then knowledge is not scarce. You can extend. Either you as an individual, you can join, as you join us, we are going to guide you more on it. But still, through the experts, you can borrow information through benchmarking from other companies that are doing the same, in the same line. Then you can borrow that information from them through benchmarking. But for you to get the nitty-gritty, for example, maybe your company needs stationaries. How can you accumulate this stationery for one full financial year? You take from procurement department, accounts department, you take from marketing department, you sum up all of them. Once you sum up all of them, you accumulate it on a yearly basis. I understand this is a key area that disturbs so many departments. You are in the right place. As you engage us in this system, we have those softwares. I have it personally through the organization. We can offer to you all this service so that you become equipped. And anyone who need, there's no way you can procure goods without having that plan. My friend, you'll be out of context. You are in the right place, my friend. Join us today, or through the consultancy services we can offer to you so that you can get the customized service for your industry. Because I understand you are facing some hurdles from accounts. They are saying they don't have it. We are here for you. We have it. Eric?
Thank you for that, Andrew. I will also read you the second question by Adan Musa. He's saying, as a procurement focal point in your organization, you have been tasked to undertake the purchase of 10 ambulances from the global market, as these cannot be sourced locally. What actions will you take to ensure transparency and the value for money in the bid process?
Thank you. This is global sourcing. Global sourcing, we want to procure 10 ambulances from overseas. How do we undertake? One, we are procuring overseas because from our SOPs is agreeable that we can source internationally. And as we source internationally, one of the things we are supposed to understand, do we have those suppliers? If yes, it will be easy. If no, it will be a process, because the process will need you to follow up with the international bodies, check from the experts information so that you can visit the areas, do involve different expertise in terms of pre-qualification so that you can get the right specs. In terms of transparency and accountability, as I said, if you have suppliers ready because they're in your database, and how do you get them in your database? Through pre-qualification. And how do you do pre-qualification? You do preliminary analysis in terms of, one, human ability of that supplier, financial capability, and how long has he been in the business? How effective is he in the market? And also the futuristic. How promising is he? All this you can check, you can have that pre-visit, then check the performance in terms of he has a garage, is he selling? And once you say, does he have the warrant? And what does the warrant say? Can he send the mechanical to check the ambulances? I'm trying to go beyond your question, but the fact remains that we can source globally, or we're going to source those 10 ambulances through our suppliers. And our suppliers, they are in our database. The procedure of sourcing, being the fact there are 10 ambulances, the threshold is beyond low value, is beyond proposal, and the products is known. So there's no need of two-stage tendering. There's no need of design competition. So the option that remains is either we follow open or we follow direct tendering, depending on the SOP. And this one SOP will be guided with the need. If the need is urgent, then directly we shall go for direct tendering. And your question is answered under the principles, the accountable, because accountability, we can afford the 10 ambulances. Do we have that budget? Was it in our procurement plan? If yes, we proceed. If no, my friend, don't proceed. Don't dare for approval, because we must have a budget. And this one will be the baseline of all questions, because we will have already breached the principles of procuring. So stick on the budget, which is under the procurement plan. If at all is under the procurement plan, then it will give you the parameters of procuring. If it's an emergency, then in our SOP, do we have a clause for direct procuring, and under what threshold? Eric?
Yes, Andrew, thank you for that. I can also see a few questions on the Q&A. I think I'd want to direct you there. And for participants, I still encourage you to send the questions in the Q&A section. I don't know if you can see them, Andrew. A few questions in the Q&A.
Maybe, sorry.
Okay, let me just, let me read it out for you.
Kindly.
Okay, we have Protas Makoha, and he's asking, is there any procurement framework that allows international supply chain, given its implications may deter countries' economic development?
Come again.
He is asking, is there any procurement framework that allows international supply chain, given its implications may deter countries' economic development? I think you can see the question and see you sharing it on the screen.
Yes. I'm trying to share it.
Protas. It's okay. You can just answer it.
Sorry?
You can just proceed on to give him the answer or to give him a response.
Yes, there is. And as I said earlier, remember, as we're undertaking the framework, because under framework talks about, I understand is a larger number of supply you're going to engage, which I don't know whether you will have that capacity to do the whole procedure, being the fact that it's an international one. Because when you're talking about framework with the standards, we talk at least 7 suppliers who are supposed to respond to you. And being an international is a yes or no, depending on the SOP. Remember, everything lies on SOP of the company. Now, being the fact that actually you are doing internationally, and we have those challenges of economies and those factors of communication and everything, if at all is for the first time you are doing it, to be hard. But if at all you have done it on several occasions, to be easy. However, I'll deter you not to progress on framework, because in such a challenge, it will have enormous expenses. It will engage you it will involve you in terms of spending money, in terms of usability analysis, checking the threshold of these suppliers. So it will be a long way to go. If I were you, I'll deter from engaging the framework. I better go for either direct or a better deal with those people I have in the pre-qualification. Yes. I can read the other one.
Yes, you can continue, Andrew.
Just to add, it is also important to give feedback to persons, especially on delays in supply chain, so that they can adapt to the logistics challenges and at the same time, at the same calm situation. Yes, it is important to give feedbacks when you are going to delay in terms of supplies. Remember, we are partners in business. And being the fact that actually you don't have these items in your store or in your stock, is better you communicate in advance. That's why we have integration. And through that integration, it will help us to communicate, to swift run the communication area, so that we don't have any delays in terms of decision making. So that is a very good contribution that always communicate on time so that you can avoid those delays. Stephen, refugees attack one of the warehouse I used to manage because the program staffs did give update on delay of supplies, which escalated and triggered the persons of concern to attack and demolish the warehouse, especially. Now, I don't know whether you are commenting or you are asking a question. Refugees attack one of the warehouse I used to manage because the program staffs did give update. I understand you are coming up with a question. For example, your warehouse was attacked because the program staff linked information to people and they led demolition. Now, this brings an act of the principles. And this one is about individual now. This one will lead us to the integrity of the employees you have. How are you supposed to manage the integrity, the ethics of your employees, and how are they supposed to manage so that this information remains within the company without any escalation? So we normally have an oath, which is contractual, that when such information spills, then you are supposed to take stand decisions in terms of taking disciplinary actions so that such act doesn't happen in future. Because remember, them attacking the warehouse, affecting or destabilizing the operations of warehouse is a very big loss to the company and also the people who are supposed to benefit from it. The other question, why is it that when you are procuring goods, the entity always accepts the lowest invoice? Sometimes the lowest don't be the best product. Planet, I don't know whether that's your name. The principle stands. And how does it stand? The procedure of coming up with the lowest bidder is stipulated here. How do we get the lowest bidder? We have 3 evaluation stages. The first stage is preliminary stage, checking whether the supplier met or the bidder met all the minimum threshold, buying that bid at 1,000 or 2,000, putting all the documentations in order, and sending the bid on time. That's first stage and evaluation. Second stage and evaluation is technical. Technical is everything. Remember, you are talking about you can take the lowest and he may not be the best. When you're talking about technical, we are talking about, does he have the manpower in terms of expertise? Does he employ the experts? I'll use that case of buying ambulance. Do you have the mechanic in your industry? People who understand the spares, the mileage, the performance of this vehicle. 2, do you have the threshold in terms of financial capacity? How do we get financial capacity? We can request for being the fact we want to buy the 10 ambulances, we can request for 2 years bank statement. We go through it. How have you been performing the last 2 years? and who are other suppliers that we're working with? Who are these clients? Are they, and what are their feedbacks in terms of your performance? That's 2. 3, how, in terms of CSR, how are you supportive in the society? Do you engage the people in performance? And if you have any partnership, how is it? Besides this, in terms of communication, how do you communicate information? How do you communicate? And then the last one is about time management. Do you supply these goods on time? If all this is a yes, then we shall move from technical level, then we go to financial. Remember, once you pass from technical, then you have already won the tender, because this is where everything is. So planet, the keyword here, the key area here, we are talking about, you must meet the standards before we can go to financial. So once you reach the financial, then it's easy that you already passed the fundamental stage. Now, the other level is about how much did you quote. For open tendering, we go for that lowest. I hope I've given you the justification of why we should go for the lowest bidder. Umo, why is corporate social responsibility a global trend in supply chain management? That's a very wonderful question. Before I answer this question, let us understand what is the scope of corporate social responsibility and what is the scope of supply chain. The scope of corporate social responsibility, I'll break it in stages or levels. We come from a society. We live somewhere, and where we live, there's a need, including the environment. The environment is supposed to be conducive, and we are supposed to support the society. We are supposed to support people who are within. For example, we are owning a supply chain company or a logistic company in the lowest part of Sierra Leone, Freetown, within the hub, and all our employees are non-citizens of Sierra Leone. One, being the fact that they are all foreigners, they may not understand the language. Our employees may not understand the language. Now, that aged person who is 82 years, who may not understand English, he only understands the local language, we may not integrate him in our business, or we may not involve. 2, how will the society perceive our company, being the fact that we only have the foreigners? The environment will not be conducive for us to perform business. 3, even in terms of transaction, we assume even the business we are doing are not involving the society. We are doing away, maybe all the monies, profit we are getting, we are only coming to invest in Kenya, not in Sierra Leone. And this one makes a justification to answer your question. In summary, being the fact that actually we are working with the people, we are working in a society, let us involve the society. And remember, we have information. The information, we are supposed to procure goods or supply goods as per the need of our people. There's no way we are going to procure goods if we doesn't understand the need of our people. And all this involves in engaging the society, engaging the end users. It becomes easy for us to manage. Hope I've answered you more. My name is Mold from Somali. How to assess market when agents want to purchase in the market. How to assess market when agency want to purchase in the market, and how reduce procurement fraud and corruption that always occurs logistics. I'm saying these two-way question. One, how do we assess the market? First of all, we want to procure the Samsung screen of 72-inch. Where are we going to get it? We are going to get it in one of our retail shops, the supermarkets. Besides the supermarkets, which are eligible traders, we can also access it or source it from the registered suppliers. How do we assess this market? We normally have in marketing intelligence. Market intelligence is ways and means of getting information on time. And if you don't get that information on time, how or where can we get it? So once we have that intelligence at your comfort zone right now, if you want to buy that 72-inch screen of Samsung, as long as you have specs, it'll be easy for you to check at your comfort zone in your house or anywhere. That's one. Two, besides justify getting that information, you can take market survey from registered retailers or traders, so that you can judge whether it can hold or not. Maybe the question also can be paraphrased. If those items are not found in the market, in such a case, you'll have to check now with the registered traders. Second part of it, how can you reduce procurement fraud and corruption that are always occurs in logistics? Simple, stick on principles of procurement: accountability, transparency, integration, equity and equality, decision-making, consistency. These are the mode or the ways of making decisions. Besides this, the principles, all employees are supposed to sign the code of conduct, the norm, that's SOP of performance. And in event you get any culprit, then the decision in terms of disciplinary should be very thorough, that no one can dare again to do such. But dealing with a professional, there's no professional who is a registered may need or may do these fraud activities. That will not be a professional. How to become a professional? Once you acquire the knowledge, the experience, you are supposed to register with the eligible professional body, so that in event of any fraud, corruption, they'll take away your license and membership services. They deter you not to transact any activity in society. I hope I've answered your question. Next end. Another one from Philip. What is legal? What is legal but not logical? What is legal but not logical? Then logical but not legal, and neither legal or logical in logistics department. Tongue twisting, Philip. Good. All logical may not be legal. The principle here is the standardization. the procedures and policies. Not all that you are thinking or your ideas are right. They will only become right when they meet the SOPs of a company. I repeat again, Philip, not all logicals are legal. They will only become logical and acceptable under legal if they follow the parameters, which are the procedures and policies of a given entity. Thank you. Any other question?
Andrew, I think due to time, we are going to direct our participants to share the questions on the platform, which I will be showing them in a few. As of now, I want to allow our participants to ask questions to you. And to do that, you can, to our participants to do that, you can raise your hand and I will give you a chance to unmute your microphone and ask our facilitator of the day a question. And I think I can see a few hands up. I can see Ali Mustaf. Ali Mustaf Sheikh Ali, are you there with us? Ali, are you there with us? You can unmute your microphone. Okay, as we wait for Ali, I can see we have Asiki Isaac Dagama.
Yes.
Yes, morning, Isaac.
Good morning. How are you all?
I'm very fine. You may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you. Precisely, many entities, especially from the nonprofit industry, and we have procurement officers or managers. So my question is it okay to deal directly with the manufacturers or suppliers without necessarily involving procurement entities or contractors in between, which in some cases exaggerate the end price of the items you want to buy than involving suppliers directly? Is it a prerequisite?
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah.
Thank you, and that's a very wonderful question. We are talking about procuring goods directly from our suppliers, from our manufacturers, who can be still be the same as suppliers without involving the middleman, which exaggerates the pricing. If I got right, that's your question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. And the only thing, remember, these are two entities. The only fundamental issue you're going to follow is that the two entities are supposed to involve their procurement entities in those companies so that they can easily make seamless flow of activity in terms of consistency and in terms of accountability, so that the goods can be supplied as and when required. So it's yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Isaac. And I can see another hand up. Maulid Abdirahman Ali.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, hello. Yes. We can hear you.
Thank you very much, and all facilitators and all participants. And I wanted to say my comments and thank you very much. This is very important and training. So I'm from Somalia. So this is and I wanted to proceed for other trainings and to get for and more interesting topics. And I'm saying again, in your energy, your time, your effort that you shared for us. and I appreciate it, and thank you very much. I wanted to say this comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the feedback, Ali, and we really appreciate that you got an opportunity to learn here with us. And we do hope to have you in our next session or hopefully join one of our courses. I can see another hand up. Philip, Wole and Philip, are you there with us? Phillips?
Hello.
Hello, Phillips.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I was talking to Philip from South Sudan.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Philip, for joining us.
Yes, and I appreciate your effort. My first question, I wanted to know how father can an upcoming or a young professional upgrade to achieve more of experience. Because when I graduated from Uganda, I came back to my homeland to apply for more jobs. But up to now, whenever I apply, they usually ask for more of experience, 10 to 15. So I see that most graduates are lacking behind and they are hidden from opportunity. So how can you help us to come over such? Hello.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Philip.
Welcome.
It's unfortunate for that. However, your question is how to gain experience. One, being the fact you are engaging with the humanitarian group, most of which are dealing with emergencies and refugees.
Yes.
You can become a volunteer in a given NGO. You serve them with the time as you gain experience. Alternatively, you can join as an intern. We have those paid interns and we have those free interns. But depending, being the fact you love your profession, you can decide. If you get the paid one, well and good. If you don't get, if you get for free, then proceed, because also getting that opportunity is not easy. Yeah. So if you either way go for intern, then gain experience, and most of the time, as you join as an intern or as a volunteer, you'll be given first priority when they are recruiting, and that's how you land such a position easily.
One more question.
Yes.
Are we getting recognition from this perspective of today, like a certificate?
For the certificate, for this being a free session, we are currently not giving any certificates. However, you can proceed to join in one of our courses, which I'll be sharing with you.
Okay.
And upon completion, you are able to get a certificate from us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Phillips, for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you once again, Philip.
Here with me, I can see Asiki.
Just a quick one.
Yes, Asiki.
Yes, if I recall, or if I can remember well, the major courses on global, humanitarian global is this one we are doing, this procurement, WASH, and M&E.
Yes.
Is it possible to have, do you have maybe like a unit that's you can do, and it brings all these three as a contributed cost, or you need to do piece by piece?
I think for that one, allow us to reach out to you and tell you, but however, we can also tailor make courses for you. For example, if you need one that has aspects of procurement, M&E, and what other one did you?
WASH.
And WASH, yes, we can also tailor make a course for you depending on your needs, and we are able to administer that to you. However, allow me to reach out to you after the session, and maybe we can discuss further on that.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I can see another hand up here. Umo Omfumbuk.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
It's morning from Nigeria.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Just I am in support of what I seek. I just ask concerning the courses,
Yes.
because I would love to merge my courses too, if possible. Like if
Yes.
I'm doing taking the course, I would love to maybe have a M&E meshed with something else for me. So I don't know if we do that, will it be the same? Because I've been like I'm planning to start the program, but for now I don't have the funds. But hopefully, once it is ready, I will send a message. I will forward my mail to the organization's email address for my interest to begin. So if that will be possible, I will appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Umoy. And yes, we still do trainings, and we are able to custom make a course for you, and you'll still be able to get a certificate from us. And so allow me to again to contact you after this meeting so
Okay,
that
sir.
we further discuss concerning that.
Okay, sir.
I hope that
Thank
is
you, sir.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I still want to give us a few more chances for us. Yeah, to have you and or to allow you to speak, you can simply raise your hand and I will give you an opportunity to speak. I can see we have an Ali Mustaf. Ali, are you there with us? Ali? Okay, as we wait for Ali, I can see your on Fetsa. I hope I got your name right.
Hey.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you say.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good, almost the afternoon. I'm
Yeah,
open
it's afternoon.
Botswana,
Yes. Yes.
Southern Africa.
Yes. Proceed to ask your question.
Yes, the first question that I may want to ask is the issue of the webinar attendance certificate
Okay.
for us, and also the slides, the presentation slide. Are we going to be able to access it?
Okay, so to answer your first question, for the certificate, unfortunately, this being a free event, we do not give a certificate for attendance. However, we do encourage our participants to join one of our courses, and they'll be able to get a certificate upon completion. And for the second question, concerning the slides, yes, we do share the slides, and we are going to share them after the session. When you got the link, you did register with us, and we were able to get your email address, and that is the same email address we are going to use to share the slides for the session and also the recording for the session that we have had today. I hope that is okay.
Yeah, the last question now is regarding the issue, the course for humanitarian. I can see that most of our, I don't know how your institute play much role as towards procurement professionals in regarding to how can we assist them, especially in this humanitarian issues. Looking at like right now in, let's say in SADC areas, we found that even if we have SADC is going out for these missions like in Mozambique, you find that this logistics aspect is the one mostly that lacks within those organizations. I don't know how far are we with this AU, your SADC, your AU, regardless to enforce mostly the people from supply chain and procurement, so that they have also strategic position in those all those missions. Sometimes when they are assigned, or even if there's international conferences, we find that most of the logistics aspect is always lacking. Then when it comes to implementation, let's say you are given a mission to go and assist by providing this humanitarian assistance, the logistics people will come at the last. We find that sometimes even the supply, because we didn't have a proper strategic sourcing, we are failing even to meet our demand. So I want to humbly request your respected organization to say that the voice of the procurement specialist and the supply chain specialist should be seen in our organization, starting from your SADC, your ECOWAS, your AU, till we reach the United Nations. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, and we will take that into consideration even as we continue to form partnerships with people and participants from different countries and different organizations to see that procurement is handled well and that everything continues on well. Thank you for that. I can see another hand up. Anthony, are you there with us? Anthony, are you there with us? Okay, I can see another hand up. We have Leju James. Leju, I'll be giving you a chance in a minute. Leju James, are you there with us? Leju James, are you there with us?
Are you getting me, please?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the program. I have two quick questions.
Okay, you may proceed.
So, yes, to Anthony. Hopefully Anthony is getting me.
Yeah, Anthony is here with us. He'll be joining you in a minute.
Okay, my question, number one question. Usually during opening tendering, in tendering, there's something called the opening tendering after submission. And in the due course of the coronavirus, usually before that people go physically and attend the opening tender. Now in the coronavirus, it is done online. But now there was an organization that we have participated in, and you find that in that duration, the online section was not held. Now after some time, they contacted us and they told us we are actually not the lowest bidder. We are the third in ranking, but they can do us a favor and they can give us a business based on us agreeing to give a commission. So my question to Anthony is that in that situation, what should we do as an organization? Do we comply with it or do we because we don't know exactly whether we are the lowest bidder or we are not the lowest bidder because there was no opening tendering. And the number two question is recently I was tasked in the organization that I was working in to do procurement of drugs with the international partners. So how should I ensure my boss that the partners that I wanted to do partnership with are having a quality medicines and also the payment guarantee? So hopefully people got my two questions. Be waiting for the answer. Thank you.
Thank you, James. These are very fundamental questions. And I'll start with the first question. First question is about giving a kickback before you can be awarded the tender. Such a company is not an eligible company. Run away. Don't give any money. In procurement, that's why we are here. We are promoting professionalization. For any tender to be given through kickbacks, that's not an eligible. You don't know how many are you. You don't know how many were called. Maybe they are a con entity. Kindly run away. The right company will come. The second one is about the tendering of medicine. You are a procurement expert, and now you are talking about the quality and in terms of the cost. That's your question, if I got it right. The specification is analyzed by the end user. And who is the end user? Being the fact you are in a health industry, you have experts, pharmacists must be involved in terms of quality. The procurement personnel is there to ensure the process runs seamlessly. All the requirements are met. What are these requirements? One, he got the right suppliers on board. Once he gets the right suppliers, it will be the responsibility of the user to involve the experts so that they can check the specs of the items they need. Two, in terms of costing, through the market survey, you can understand how much is that drug costing. Where do you get this information? You get from registered traders, consultants, the institutional organizations that are dealing with this in same industry. That's where you're going to get. And besides, for Kenyan people, we have the price list of all items in Public Procurement Regulatory Authority document. Hope I've answered your question, James.
Yeah, you have answered, but to correct on number one, actually where the suppliers and the organization procurement departments are the one demanding that we should give them commission before they can give us, the suppliers, the business.
Yes, I understand you are saying those are procurement demanding for kickbacks before they can award you the contract.
Yes.
From my understanding and a professional understanding, they are totally wrong. In such a circumstance, you have a right to proceed and sue them through their bodies. Which are these? If they are registered, then they have the bodies which are managing them. If you report them there, they'll be reprimanded their licenses and they'll not practice at all. And you can also proceed to report them to their organizations, because this fraud, you don't know how many people they have been requested to give kickbacks. So this is totally wrong. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, due to time, kindly allow us to end. And just before we do that, I'd want to show you the community platform that we have as a Humanitarian Global, where you can get to post any question that you have that we have not been able to answer. So if you go to our website, which is humanitarianglobal.com, you will get to see what we call the HG community. And this is our community where you can come and interact with other participants, other people who are in your field of work or field of study. And to do that, you simply log in. And once you've created an account and logged in, you can come to this space where you are going to get our different discussion forums, and you can join any of them. Or however, if you want to create or maybe ask a question, you can click on the new topic, and then you can write the title of your question and then maybe select one of the categories that you want it to be. We have different, for example, we have meal wash, and currently we are doing the procurement. So we have a procurement section here, which I'm going to show you in a bit. You get to select that, then here you can write your question and post it, and then you can continue having this discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today, and our sincere apologies because we started late, but thank you for being with us throughout the whole session, and we do hope that you got to learn more about procurement, and we hope to see you in our next session. From Andrew and Anthony and I, we do wish you a good weekend and a great day ahead.
Procurement and supply chain management processes play an important role in any given organization by helping in maximization of profits. This is attained through cost reduction, enhancement of supply quality, assurance of supply, and increased unlocking of suppliers' innovation. This leads to development of strong competitive advantages which are critical in giving a business success in today's competitive markets. To achieve this, more professionals need to be trained to develop critical skills. By undertaking this course prepared by Humanitarian Global, you will develop important skills which are important in your career progression in procurement and supply chain management. Among the covered modules and topics include Introduction to Purchasing and Supply Chain Management. In the first module, you will get to learn more about the environment of purchasing and supply chain management, importance of purchasing, terms and concepts of purchasing and supply chain management, and the 4 enablers of purchasing supply. Secondly, principles of negotiations. In this module will help the learner develop in-depth knowledge and skills in areas such as introduction to principles of negotiations, types of negotiation, factors in negotiation and negotiations ethics. Thirdly, supply chain management. In the final module, you will get to learn more about supply chains, types of supply chains, supply chain management, and other aspects of supply chain management. Apply for this course today by visiting our website www.humanitarianglobal.com for more details.